Hello, this is Mike Abbott with Painless Performance. Today we're going to install a 30142 F5 dual fan controller onto this 2004 Chevrolet pickup you see in front of you. Earlier we had uninstalled or took off the mechanical fan that originally came on this truck and purchased a cooling fan set from a 2005 or 2006 Chevrolet pickup, same body style, and it bolted right up. So let's get started. First step to installing the fan controller is figure out a place to mount it. In this particular instance, this truck has a fuse block under the hood, and right on the side of the fuse block is a nice flat area. It's kind of out of the way if it's raining, it doesn't get too wet, even though the fan controller is waterproof. You just kind of want to protect it from anything you can. It's farther enough away from the alternator and the exhaust and everything else that puts out a lot of noise or heat. So we need to uninstall this brace and pull this box off, and then we'll mount the fan controller. And as you can see right here is where we're going to mount the fan controller. The F5 fan controller needs to be mounted in a specific way so you still have access to this side of the fan controller. As you can see, we silk screened it. Gives you a little bit of instruction of how to modify how this thing operates. Inside this box is two little potentiometers with Phillips head screws on them, and you'll need to get to these little ports on the side in order to adjust it. So make sure when you mount it, you can still get to this side of the fan controller. Now we're going to mount the fan controller to the underhood fuse block cover. We've already drilled one hole for a 1032 bolt and nut on one side. We're going to drill the other hole, insert the bolt, tighten it down, and there you have it. In this kit is a 70 amp mighty fuse. We decided on this truck that it would be a good idea to also mount it to this cover. It's easily accessible. We're going to mount it right here. Hold it in place where you think you want it. Drill your first hole, down, drill your other hole, complete the installation of the mighty fuse. We've disconnected the positive battery cable. We can disconnect the main power lead to the underhood fuse block. Use a 7mm socket with a ratchet. It's really simple. Take it off. Now you'll notice once you take this lead off of here that there's tabs on the bottom of this thing. You'll have to get a screwdriver underneath there and pry them out so you can get this bolt out. Take the bolt out, grab the terminal out of the parts kit that fits the bolt, grab the 10 gauge power lead that provides power to the cooling fans, now the large 10 gauge side, you're going to need to route it from this area of the fuse block where you're going to get power from over to where we mounted the mighty fuse, which is right next to the fan controller on the cover. So just cut, 18 inches to 2 feet off of it. Power lead's plenty long. Now take the terminal, take the bolt, put the bolt through the terminal, put the bolt through the original battery cable. Tighten it on down. As you can see, we've drilled another hole in the fuse block cover so you can push the wire through the hole over to the mighty fuse. We crimped the terminal that comes in the parts kit, shrunk the heat shrink, take the nut and the washer off the mighty fuse, and as you can see, we made enough length on the wire where you can get this fuse block cover on or off. The extra wire just pokes down in there. Like that. Also included in the kit is a vehicle integration harness. This harness has a 10-pin black connector on it. It plugs into the controller right on the front. Plug it in. Now, several of these wires will go inside the cab. Several will stay out here. So look at the installation manual. It tells you it's also printed on every wire exactly where it goes. Now the first wire we're going to connect, since we're doing the power wire connection right now, is the one that goes over to the mighty fuse along with the power wire that goes out to the cooling fans. So this little 20 gauge red wire is going to go right here to this terminal along with the other side of the power harness that goes to your cooling fans. As you can see, we took a vehicle integration harness, plugged it into the front of the fan controller, then we took the number 15 red wire, ran it over to the mighty fuse, crimped it into the terminal that's in the parts kit, this pink terminal, along with the 10 gauge power wire pigtail that goes to your cooling fans. Now just take this terminal, put it on the mighty fuse, install the block washer along with a nut. You can ratchet, tighten down on it. Again, don't over tighten it. And snap the fuse cover on. Now that we got the mighty fuse connected, we'll snap the fuse block cover back on there. We routed the 10 gauge power cable, or power cable assembly, over to the fans. Just kind of get it gently routed over there. We'll button that up in a second here. Just slide the fuse block cover down over it. Snap it down. And you're done with that part of it. Okay, what we have here is we've routed the wires, the power wire from the MIDI fuse, which splices off to two smaller wires to the fan for power, and then you have channel 1 and channel 2 wires, which is the ground for the cooling fans. We unplug the connectors from the cooling fans, and we have these little pigtails here. We strip the end of the wires, and now we'll just crimp them to these heat shrinkable terminals. Then we'll just heat shrink them all, route the wires back down to the fans, plug it in, put some tie wraps on them so the wires stay out of the fans and the belt, and then we'll move on. Okay, we got our pigtails put on the end of our harness. Connectors go to the fan. Got our heat shrunk down. Took some tie wraps that came in the kit, buttoned it all up. Now we're going to route the fan connectors down to the fan. Plug them in. And there you have it on that part. Okay, we routed the number 1 black wire, which is the main ground for the fan controller, up and over this brake booster, and we're going to go to this ground lug right here that comes off the engine. So just loosen the nut. Put the wire on there. Tighten it down. Here's the coolant temp sensor that comes in the kit. It's got 12 by 1.5 millimeter threads on it. Comes with a copper crush washer. What you'll do is take on the passenger side head, we've already got one installed, you can see, but there's a port right here that has a plug in it from the factory. Take the plug out real fast if you haven't drained your coolant. Thread that in there. Make sure that copper crush washer is centered when you tighten that down. Tighten it down. Take the pigtail, which has the black and the yellow wire that's in the parts kit with the sensor, and plug it into the sensor. Just like that. Take the other side of the harness, route it over to the fan controller.